Hey guys, I'm the Stitcher, and I'm here to give you a tutorial on how to cross stitch. But before I get started on that, I'm trying to get this out before the holiday season. It'll be out by November 1st, maybe even on Halloween. Spooky, right? And the reason is I understand that these holidays specifically, and maybe holidays going forward, I don't know when you're going to watch this, they're going to be difficult financially, right? And sometimes a handmade gift is the best way to go. And I personally think handmade gifts are great. There's a lot of jokes out there about handmade gifts. I think they're awesome. I love them. And cross-stitching is a pretty cheap hobby that, I mean, you can give somebody some pretty cool things, right? And if you want to cross-stitch professional wrestlers, I have my professional wrestling cross-stitch patterns on ko-fi.com/wrestlingwithstitches for free, always. They're always free, right? And that is because I understand how difficult things can be financially, and there have been times where I wanted to buy a pattern off Etsy for like $3, but my bank account was negative and I couldn't afford it, and I don't want anybody to ever be in that situation. And with that being said, I have a bunch of cross-stitch kits already pre-made, right? They're of my tiny cross-stitch patterns, which I don't make anymore, but the kits are made because I was going to sell them at farmers markets. They didn't take off, so I just have them in storage. And I have Stone Cold Steve Austin, Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, Bray Wyatt, MJF, and CM Punk, right? And I will send those to people for free. I will pay for shipping, I'll pay for everything, because I understand how difficult it can be, right, financially. And I want people to have a good holiday season. And even if you want to cross-stitch my patterns that I have on ko-fi.com/wrestlingwithstitches, like not the kits I already have pre-made, like Luke Harper here, right? This is what we're going to do. I'll talk about that in a minute. Or any of my other patterns. And there's no way you can afford to get the startup materials. Message me, email me, please. I'm begging you, I'm serious. Email me. I will put together a kit so you can stitch it for free. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for promotion. I'm not asking for likes, for shares, for anything. I want to help. I genuinely do, because I want to help, and I don't know how else to do it besides offering what I know best, and that is cross-stitching professional wrestlers, right? That's what I'm here for. I'm the Stitcher, right? That's what I do. So, with that being said, like I said, I'm going to be doing Luke Harper today because he is universally loved, I think, right? Mr. Brody Lee in AEW, or Luke Harper, obviously, in WWE. And I didn't want to do like Orange Cassidy and have WWE fans go, ew. Or like do Jey Uso and have AEW fans go, ew, even though I think they're both great, right? I just like professional wrestlers. If you follow me on like short form content stuff on TikTok or YouTube, you know which I align with more, but it doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. I like professional wrestlers, period, right? Okay, so let's talk about materials first, right? You need Aida cloth. I use 14 count, right? So like this is the color I'm going to use for Luke Harper, okay? But there's so many colors. You guys know what colors are. I don't know why I'm showing you. But like pink, blue, white, right? And it's really useful to have so many color options, right? Blah, blah, blah. You understand. Because professional wrestlers have so much like colorful attire that like sometimes like you genuinely like have to like, I have to look through all these different colors I have to find something that'll work where they won't blend into the background. I did a Adam Copeland one once where he was wearing red pants, and I did it on red Aida cloth, and it just blends in. Annoying, right? So anyway, this will be perfect for Luke Harper, right? You need Aida cloth. You need some scissors. Any scissors will do. Any scissors. You don't need to buy fancy scissors. I have these because I like them, but any scissors will work. Needles, right? I use size 24. And this was $9 on Amazon for 100 needles, right? Just tapestry needles, right? Get tapestry needles? No, yes, tapestry needles, sorry, because they are blunt, they're duller, right? If you get embroidery needles, they're gonna poke into the Aida cloth, and it's gonna be harder to just go through the holes, right? So tapestry needles is what you want with cross stitch. I like to use a needle threader right here because I can't thread a needle without it. And a hoop. This is a 4-inch hoop. It's too small for what I'm doing, but it's the first one I found, so I grabbed it. I have my John Cena here on a 6-inch hoop. This is a little bit better. I would suggest getting a 6-inch if you're doing like my regular patterns, right? And again, you don't need to use my patterns. You don't need to do professional wrestlers. Go on Etsy, get any pattern you want. This tutorial will get you where you need to be. And then I use this needle minder. It's basically like a magnet that holds the needle, right? I don't know where my needle went for John Cena here, but it's just so you don't like stretch the holes here by like parking the needle in the hole. You just keep it right here, right? But you don't need one of those. That's not crucial. You can just like I used to, before I started using needle minders, I just park it way up here, so it didn't even matter that I was stretching the hole or parking it, right? So those are the things you need, and then you need embroidery floss, right? And we will talk about that. This is the key, right? So you'll see like this horseshoe right here. This dark blue is the outline of Luke Harper's pants, right? So that's DMC 156. And this is what you're looking for when you go to the store, okay? This is DMC 798, but you get the idea, right? This is what it'll look like when you buy it. It looks like this. And then you buy bobbins, which I don't have one near me, but this one's pretty low, right? So the bobbins look like this, right? And then you just unwind this, write the number right up here, like 798 or whatever, and then just wrap it, right? And that's pretty simple. And I keep all mine in a kit like this, but again, there's like, sometimes when you buy bobbins, it comes with like a little ring you can keep it all on. This isn't important. I just stitch so often that I have like everything because I carry it with me everywhere I go. Okay, so I think we talked about all the materials we need. So let's start on how to actually cross stitch, right? The first thing is we need to get a needle out, which I should have done ahead of time, but I didn't, so I'm sorry. You need to fold the Aida cloth in half, vertically and horizontally, right? You want to fold it into quarters so you can find the exact middle of the Aida cloth, okay? And then you're going to look on your pattern and find a little X, right? It's kind of hard to see on here. It's right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there is a little yellow X right there, okay? And the other way to tell is there's an arrow here and an arrow here, at least on my patterns. Almost every pattern you're gonna get is gonna have where the center is because that's where you want to start. So you have your cross stitch, like obviously the stitch, ends up being right in the middle of the Aida cloth. That's the reason you do that. So you find the X, and that's one of these little S's, right? Which I showed you before. The S down here is DMC 3866, okay? So that's what we're gonna find, which is right here, 3866, okay? And you're gonna unwind it. You can, a lot of people like to do like from hand to elbow or whatever, like the length of your forearm, right? I go longer because I don't like tying on and all that stuff. So I just go longer, but warning, if you go longer, you are probably gonna have knots and get tangled, and it can be frustrating at first to have all these knots. Eventually you learn how to work around that, you get better at that. And I'll tell you this too, I'm a perfectionist in my life. And when it comes to cross stitching, I kind of let myself be less of a perfectionist, you know? So like, I'm gonna teach you some things that a lot of cross stitchers are gonna, you know, shake their heads at, right? Like, for example, okay, the way I cast on, right? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But so I personally like to do 3 strands on these embroidery flosses come 6 strands, right? It comes with 6 strands. I like to do 3 strands when I'm working on 14 count Aida cloth. So I do 3. Some people do 2. Either way is fine. I just feel like it fills in better with 3. But some people like to see like the X's a little better with the 2. It's totally preference, right? I did a cross stitch a while back of a wrestler named Peter B. Beautiful. He is a independent wrestler out in the Midwest, I believe. And I did it with 2 strands on 14 count, and I just didn't like the way it turned out. I switched to 3, and I never turned back. I like 3, but it's totally up to you, okay? Now, with this, you're gonna take the needle threader and you put it through the eye of the needle, right? And then you take the embroidery floss. I like to put it in my mouth just to straighten it out. Some people might think it's disgusting, I'm sorry. And put it right through there, right through that little gap right here. I don't know if this camera's gonna pick it up well, but you kind of get the idea. And then pull it through, right? and then it's threaded. And I like to have a little bit of a tail because your needle's going to come unthreaded a lot. And at first you're going to get so frustrated having to keep rethreading all this stuff. I used to hate it. And that was just part of the deal, right? So that's okay. And then you're going to find where the center of the Aida cloth is, right? Which is where you're folded, where your cross is. And then you're going to, all right, so I had to bring the camera closer. You can see how there are holes, right? And you can kind of figure out how to make squares, right? You can see squares here. Those are where we're going to be making our X's on the squares, okay? So you're going to come up, right, through the back, right, just like that, okay? And then you want to pull it through, and then you want to make, I'm just going to make the slash, okay? Then I'm going to show you. So you're going to pull, make the slash, which you'll see in a second, right? Just like that, right? You want a little slash right there, okay? And then this is where I told you that, hey, what's up down there? This is where I told you that a lot of cross stitchers aren't gonna like what I'm doing because they like to do a loop start, and I just don't do that because I don't care what the back of mine looks like. I think it frames up fine either way. Some people are gonna disagree with me, and that's okay. You can learn how to loop start on your own if you want to. I'm never gonna do it, so I didn't feel the need to learn it for this tutorial. So I like to just loop around, do a knot, and loop around and knot it again. So it's nicely knotted, leave a little bit of a tail there, right? Just so it doesn't come back out, and then just clip it, right? There's knots in the back. People, like I said, good cross stitchers are gonna hate that, so you can become a good cross stitcher if you want to by learning a loop start on your own. It's not that important to me, right? So what you got here is a slash, right? Okay, and I'm just gonna do a full stitch here, even though that's not how I would normally do it. I'm gonna show you what a full stitch looks like, which is just an X, right? It's pretty simple. It's called a cross stitch. You're making little crosses. And bam, right? That is what it looks like right there, okay? That is a finished stitch, right? So what I like to do, and again, I apologize, I am not the best at tutorials. When I teach cross stitching, I either do it in person or on Zoom, and I am happy to connect with any of you and do this over Zoom because I just love cross stitching, right? So what I like to do is I do a full row, right? And that's where the X is right there, right? A full row of slashes, and then I come back and finish them and make the X's, right? And that's what I'm gonna do. I'll probably speed it up once. And this is called counted cross stitch. So you're gonna do a lot of counting in this. So I have to go 5 stitches over from where I just made that one stitch, because this row is 11 wide. So there's gonna be 5 on one side of it and 5 on the other, okay? So I'm pretty good at just eyeing it now that I've been doing this for so long, but it's gonna be difficult at first. And you're gonna make mistakes, and you know what? Again, this is a good opportunity if you're a perfectionist to just let some of that perfectionism go and just have some mistakes in your cross stitches. I'll actually go grab one of my first ever cross stitches from like 12 years ago. I did Larry Koopa. And yeah, it is not perfect. There are so many mistakes in that thing, and I don't make as many mistakes now, but I still do. I still make mistakes, and that's okay. I usually go back and fix them just because sometimes I want to sell these cross stitches. Sometimes I give them away, you know, and I just want them to be as good as possible, but it's not that serious, right? So yeah, it's just about fun. It's about fun. And you know what? I think some mistakes in your art is not a bad thing. I think it gives it character. I think it makes it yours. And yeah. And like I said, I am happy to, so I finished the 5 on the left side of it. Now I'm going to finish the 5 on the right. Then I'll show you what I mean by come back across. But I'm happy to do Zoom calls and like do tutorials on there. I taught my friend MJ how to cross stitch over Zoom, and she is a rock star when it comes to this stuff. She stitches faster than I do, right? some of the stuff she's done is ridiculous. Like she'll check in and be like, hey, I started this, and then a couple days later it's almost done. It's absurd how fast she stitches, but she learned over Zoom, right? And that is definitely a better way, because then people can ask questions and all that stuff. But I learned by looking at some pictures online 12 years ago, and this is really no wrong way to learn, right? Anyway, yeah, so this is a full row, right? This is, and normally, I didn't even put it in the hoop, right? I'll just show you, right? You unscrew this, right? You put it like this, okay? Except you don't want your, right, like this, okay? And then you just try to get it centered, and then you push this part right over the top, okay? That way it's just nice and tight and easier to stitch. I was just stitching it without a hoop, and that's fine too. You don't necessarily need to use a hoop. I think there are there's some styles of cross stitch or embroidery where they don't use a hoop. I know there is actually, I just don't know what it's called. I should. And I apologize for not, but yeah, so. And sometimes, another thing is, just a good piece of advice, is sometimes just let your needle hang so it unwinds a little bit, because that'll be a good way to avoid tangling in knots. So that's what a row looks like half done. So that's the slashes. And now I'm going to go back this way and fill in the X's, okay? And yeah, I'm probably not going to speed this up. This will be a long tutorial, and if you want to listen to me yap about this stuff, feel free. And if you don't, then whatever, hit me up and I'll schedule to teach you over Zoom, again, for free. This is just me trying to to contribute to society any way I can, Cross-stitching's done a lot for me over the years in terms of helping with my recovery from alcoholism and helping with my anxiety, right? And just giving me something to do, right? And something to build and be proud of. I'm so proud of Wrestling with Stitches and what it's become over the past 2 years since I started it. And I started getting into content creation, and if you're here because you follow me because my content that I started doing this year, I appreciate that. If you just happen to stumble on me because you want to learn to cross stitch and you like professional wrestling, please give me a follow. I'll be doing lots of long form videos on YouTube about professional wrestling, and I do a lot of short form on YouTube and TikTok, and I just I just love doing it, and I'm happy to have people here, Anyway, I got a full row here now, right? This is the middle of his belly here. That's what a full row looks like of cross stitch, and that is this row right here-ish, right? The X is right there. It's right there. That's this row, right? And then you can go up or you can go down, right? Because you're working right from the middle. So what I would typically do is I would work my way down and then come back up, okay? And now that you have that initial row, you don't need to start in the center anymore. You're just going to start literally, you came back this way to finish the X's. So you're going to start right here, making slashes going this way, and then filling them back in this way to make the X's. Once you get back here, more slashes, more X's, more slashes, more X's, right? That is what you do. And then when you finish, right, with a color, right, either it gets too short or you're literally finished with the color, what you do is this, right? I'm just going to show you, then I can tie back on later. You're going to find, there's little loops in the back here. So what you want to do is you want to tuck, push the needle through under some of the loops, right? You can see how it's done right there, right? I pushed it under right here, okay? And then pull it all the way through. Pull it through, right? And that way it's tucked in, it won't come loose. Sometimes it will come loose, and that can be very frustrating. And it happens to me still after 12 years of stitching. And maybe there's gonna be some stitchers on here telling me that's because I do it wrong. And hey, that's okay, you know? Like I said, I'm not a perfectionist here. I'm just trying to teach you a quick way to learn how to do this, and you guys can get better. You will be better than me, I'm sure, in no time. But yeah, that's what you got. And then that's the back, that's the front, okay? You would keep going down, go up. I mean, I'm probably gonna stop the tutorial here just because that gives you a good start, right? That is basically all you need to know. There's back stitches and stuff, and like maybe I'll probably, so I wanna get this out in time for the holidays, right? I didn't plan this out. I've been thinking about doing a tutorial for a long time now, and I was like, I just have to get this thing out. I just have to get this thing out. It doesn't need to be perfect, just like I'm talking about with my cross stitching. I just need to get this thing out so people understand how to cross stitch, so they can start cross stitching for the holidays. Make gifts for people, okay? When I first started wrestling with stitches, my plan was to not get too political, right? Stay out of that, even though I knew I wasn't going to be able to. Everything's fucked right now. The administration we have right now is fucked. Don't support billion-dollar corporations if you don't have to, right? If you want to go to Michael's and buy the materials for this, that's cool, right? I like to go to Michael's. I'm not like shitting on anybody. I buy stuff from Walmart too, right? I get it. I'm gonna try not to buy anything for this holiday season, right? I'm gonna make stuff for the people I love. And I want to give people the opportunity to do that, okay? So I have my patterns. If there's a wrestler you want to cross stitch for somebody, if you have like a kid who loves a wrestler, or a husband or a wife, or anybody in your life, a mom, a dad, anybody, a friend, and you have a wrestler that they love, I will try my best to get patterns made so you can make them, okay? Please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. And like I said, if you don't have the means to spend $20 on startup materials, that's probably about what it cost. Message me. I'm not messing around here. I'm not joking. I wish I could I'm not going to pull my camera off and show you how much stuff I have over there. I have so much cross-stitching stuff. I will build you a kit and I will send it to you, and I will not charge you a nickel for it, okay? Not even a penny, which we're getting rid of, I guess, which is a good idea actually. But yeah, so please don't worry about, I was gonna say, follow me. Like, I don't care about that shit. I don't care. Please message me. Please email me at shawnesinclair at wrestlingwithstitches.com. I don't care, right? Those are my, you can find it, right? I'll put it in my bio or whatever, or I'll put it in the description. You can email me. Please email me. I will send you what you need to do a cross stitch. Go to ko-fi.com/wrestlingwithstitches, ko-fi.com/wrestlingwithstitches to see patterns. I will print the pattern for you. I will send you everything you need, okay? If you don't have the means. And if you tell me you don't have the means to do it, I'm going to believe you, okay? I don't give a shit. You could be a billionaire. Please don't message me if you're a billionaire. You could be a millionaire, right? And tell me, I don't have the means to do it. I don't care. I'm not here to police what people need or don't need. I want to help people. And if I can do that by sending a kit to start cross-stitching so people can make things for their family, I want to do that, right? And like I said, I have the pre-made kits too. Whatever you need, message me, email me, comment, whatever you need to do, okay? And let's get through this holiday season together. Let's get through this life together. Like I said, cross-stitching has done so much for me over the years. With my recovery from alcoholism, like 815 days sober or something, and with my anxiety, with everything, right? And I love doing it, and people like receiving cross stitches, not just cross stitches, any handmade gifts, right? This jokes, people joke. Oh, my grandma made me a sweater, right? That's cool. Don't be lame. Will I edit that part out? I don't know. That's where I sleep, by the way. Yeah, so like this is what you can expect, right? Like this is Orange Cassidy, okay? That's not framed though. Oh, Kevin Owens with the NXT title. I'll be doing a long form video on Kevin Owens' NXT title run in NXT, obviously. But yeah, like here's my tiny John Cena, right? I'm working on my, this is this like style that my MJF and Danhausen and CM Punk Stone Cold Steve Austin kits. This is what they look like. My patterns don't look like that anymore. They're like this now, right? I just changed my style and I like these better. So, but yeah, here's Cody Rhodes, right? I'll do another tutorial on how to frame, or you can reach out to me and I can explain framing to you. But Cody Rhodes from Hell in a Cell 2022 with his torn pack, right? I got the original TLC match, right? Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, right? With the titles up there, ladder match, of course. What else? This full-size CM Punk. I don't do this size pattern anymore either. That's CM Punk there. You get the point, though. I just, hey, Tiffany Stratton here with her Miss Money in the Bank briefcase and her world title after she cashed in on Nia Jax, all right? And I'll just show this one before I sign off. I just finished the Wyatt family from like 2015, 2016, right? I'll frame this up too. But yeah, this is what you'll end up with. Is just a framed cross stitch, right? Professional wrestling people, some people like wrestling. I like wrestling, okay? Don't make fun of me. So yeah, this is what you'll end up with, and some people are into it, right? And yeah, whatever. I'm just yapping now. Message me if you need anything, okay? And if this wasn't good enough, message me and we'll set up a Zoom call. I have taught many people in half an hour to an hour. I'm happy to get on a call with you and just like answer any questions, show you how to get it started, and yeah, we'll get it done. All right, we'll get through these trying times together. Okay, this is how I can contribute. I'm gonna need help from people with other things too, so I want to help any way I can. And if that means giving people something to do that is a cheap hobby that can create things for their loved ones or for themselves, that's what I want to do. And I love you all. Bye-bye.